Welcome back to SK Hobbies, AZ and I am Stitch, and on this episode, we are doing some more upgrades to our Creality Ender 5 Plus. You're not going to want to miss this, so stay tuned. All right, welcome back. So yes, we are going to install the new Micro Swiss NG direct drive extruder that I talked about in my last video. We are also going to put on, there you go. We're going to put on these little black rubber pieces. They're rubber kind of washer bushings that we're going to put in place of the springs. And I'll show you guys that once we get onto the printer. And then we're going to replace the little plastic handles with these nice aluminum blue anodized pieces. So we're going to get that done. I've already got this out of the box. And this is what the extruder looks like. So we're going to get this all prepped and ready to go. I've got to pull this piece off. I've got to get the new hot end installed in there and get that ready to go. We've got the 3D printed pieces that they sent. This is for your travel sensor that travels. So you got to put it onto the new bracket and move it back a little bit. This is for the BL Touch. I have the CR Touch installed on there. So I printed out these two ones off of their website, and these are for the CR Touch. This one here is actually from Creality's website. This one right here is not from Creality's, it's from Thingiverse, that a guy that printed out kind of a thinner one. So we're going to see which one of these works good for our CR Touch, and we're going to get that installed. And then lastly, we're going to install this guy. And what this is here, we open it up, this is a new print bed. So what this is this, it's not smooth like the glass bed. And it's called PEI coating on it. And it's flexible and it's magnetic. So there's a magnetic piece, if we can get it to come off like this. So this piece here gets stuck onto the hotbed. The idea behind it, it's going to conform to the bed that we have, so we're going to get a nice even heat on it. We'll give it a shot. I had one on my Ender 3 V2 that I had, and I loved it. This one is bigger because we have a bigger bed, so we're going to put this guy on too. With that, we got some other modifications that we're going to do. If you guys look over here is the 3D printer on the screen, but we're going to relocate that where the filament is over to the side over here, so we can have the Bowden tube come down to the side, so it gets a little bit, makes it easier to change the filament and stuff. So we're going to relocate that over there, and then we've got to relocate, actually printed out of here in black, but what this does is it replaces your extruder. So what they call the reverse extruder. And this is going to mount on the plate where your extruder's at. And then your Bowden tube goes into the top of it. So you're just going to feed filament up here. The Bowden tube's going to keep it kind of going in the right direction and feed it right into the top of the extruder on the Micro Swiss. I think there's enough talking here. Let's get busy and let's get working. I'll see you guys over at the printer. All right, so first things first is you got to make sure that you unplug the power. So I'm going to reach back over here and get the power cord that's right here. There we go. So you want to make sure that you don't have power on. We're also going to get this bed lowered down out of our way. Right, so we got the bed lowered down. It's not all the way, but it's out of our way. So where we're going to be working at is here, and with this extruder, and then this is where my filament holder is. We're going to relocate that over here to the side, and we're going to move this plate over on this side here, and then we're going to have the Bowden tube go over to the side, so we have the full travel that we need. Got it? Now, this is the sensor that, and the plate. Let me show you the plate. All right, so this is the plate, and you can see that it's bigger, a little bit bigger. And that's what we need, is we need to have it a little bit bigger, because the way that the new extruder is going to set on is just a tad bit higher. So we need a little bit more thickness. We're going to mount this onto there. And actually it's going to go this way like that. And then we're going to secure that in with the same T-nut that's on here. Move that out of the way. Then we'll bring this over as far as we want it to go for travel. And then we'll butt that sensor up there. Then we're going to replace all of this. We're still going to have our no filament sensor. We're going to leave that same plate and everything on here. So when we feed the filament up, it's going to go through this sensor and into the tube. And then it'll pull through the tube right into the new extruder. Now, we need to take all of this apart. So we're going to start off, I'm going to go to Speed Vision. We're going to clip all of these little zip ties off. We're going to pull this apart. I need to get these two fans out of here. I need to get the heater and the heater core and our temperature sensor removed out of this head. And then we can get rid of all of it. And we're going to have to loosen up. We're going to have to loosen this up to loosen the belt so we can get this completely off and out of the way. Then we're going to go back over to the workbench. We'll get it all assembled up onto the new, into the new extruder. And then we'll bring you guys back over and start getting this installed. Hope you guys enjoy the ride. We'll see you guys here in a few. We're going to go to Speed Vision now. All right, so now we got to remove these 3 rollers, because we're going to need to use those on the new one. So just need the roller and the bushing. The rest of the stuff you don't need. All right, so these are the parts we're replacing, so we can go ahead and move these out of the way. I've got, you can see right there, I have the 3 bearings that we need for this roller. And now we can start working on the next one. Let's go ahead and bring that over. All right, so we got everything. Just going to get everything laid out here. Parts we need a parts tray. All right, so this bag here we're not going to open yet. This is for the reverse extruder that's going to go once we install it over there, so we don't need that. This is just some spare parts. We're going to set that aside. We don't need any of that. What we need is this bag here, and we need this bag here, because we need these screws in order to put the fans in. But first off, we got to take this little black cover off here first. So there's 2 screws that hold this cover on, one there and one there. We're just going to pull those screws out. Don't lose them, because we're going to need to reuse those. Now, if you ever damage this housing, this plastic housing here, they do have the 3D print file on their website that you can 3D print yourself a new one. So this is the cover we need. And so now we need this back. So you got to install these fans the same way we removed it. So this fan here, that backing was on the inside, so we need to do that. Now, it's going to be good to kind of keep your electrical all running the same way, so you don't have to remove this. So we're going to install the wiring on this side. These are going to go in right down here in the bottom. This guy will come over here, and then this fan right here can only go in one way. So now that's where we got to screw these in. And you don't want to really over tighten these screws. The fans aren't really that strong. So there's larger screws in that kit for the front fan, and the side fan uses the smaller screws. Let me go ahead and get those out. All right, so you guys can see it. These are the larger screws. Those are the smaller ones. So these ones go on the front, and they're just going to go hand tight. Now, they are a cross tip or a Phillips head screwdriver, so you're going to need to use that style of screwdriver. So now we've got to install the hot. So in the bag comes with the screw for the heater element, and then you just got to take this little rubber sock off for now. And when you install it, you got these 2 screws here in the front. That's going to face forward. That's where your heater element goes, and then your temperature sensor goes in the bottom one, and then you're going to put a set screw in the top up there, and you just want to get it just enough to hold it in. You don't want to go tight. And then this should just slip up right in there, but before that we got to back that screw out. This set screw right here, you're going to back that out a little bit, make sure that goes all the way up in there, and just kind of get it straight for now. Just snug. Because once we heat it up, we're going to check the tension on that also. All right, so all we have left is to replace the bed cover with the PETG, and then we're going to do these pieces. So we're going to get moving on that now. So first things first is we're going to replace these. So all you got to do is just kind of untwist these. And we'll go through one, and then I will do the speed vision on the others. And then you're going to put these on. Now, there are, if you look on here, there you can see it's kind of notched on one side and flat on the other. For our purposes, we're going to put the notch side up. All right, so with these, you can see that it's notched, and this is the way it was installed right there, and there's kind of a flat bar right here, and that's where this notch is going to set at. So we're going to go ahead and put that with the notch facing up. So with this one, I just push and hold down, and I'm just going to spin it just so it touches. And we're going to do that on all four sides. Now the next step is we got to install the G-code. All right, so now we're going to hit print. And there is the E-steps code right there. So we're going to run that. So we click on that and then hit print. And that's it. We hit finish. And now we should go to settings and go to leveling. All right, so next thing we need to do is we need to set the height of the Z height. So you can pick these up on Amazon. They are a 0.02. You guys can see right there, 0.02. They're just a feeler gauge. And we're going to utilize this to try, we just need to stick it under there, and we're adjusting down. Okay, so that's too much. So we set that. Now we've got to, we're gonna do a test completely around. All right, well, welcome back. So we got everything installed that we wanted to get installed. We got that conversion done on the new Micro Swiss NG extruder. It's a direct drive extruder. We've got the bed leveling taken care of. We actually did a bed leveling test and it came out awesome. As you can see right here. There's still a little bit of issues and roughness on here, but from there, we started working on fine-tuning the print. So we started going through some bed leveling and checking. And actually, I ended up breaking out my feeler gauges. And if you can see this one here, so that's the one right there that we used. It's the 0.0015 or the 0.04 millimeter. And that's what we did to test the center and set the Z and get that Z nice and set. From there, we worked on taking the all four corners and starting in one quarter, going all the way around. We did that a couple of times, and actually, it started working pretty good. We started doing a temperature test on the PLA, and this was with the white PLA. And you can see there's a lot of striation in there, and that all of that is basically due to retraction. And then figuring out what temperature is the best. And it looks like my best temperature is about 110. And then we started doing the retraction test, and then you can see right here, the one in the middle is the one that looks the best. So we ended up setting that retraction. Now they recommend between 1 millimeter to 1.5 millimeter. So I went in and adjusted the retraction test to accommodate 1 millimeter, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, and 1.4. If I figured that it didn't work here, then maybe I need to run one at 1.5, but we just ran that way and it just happened to be right in the middle. So we set our retraction to 1.3 millimeters. Then we started running the XY cube, and you can see right here it did print out really good. You can see the nice layer lines. We're running that 0.6 nozzle. Everything turned out good, but look at that bottom. So we had some issues with the bottom. Same with this one here. The bottom kind of started lifting up a little bit. So I went back and re-leveled the bed again and found out it was all off. I'm going to actually do a video on how I leveled the bed and the process that I go through on one of my next videos. So we'll talk a little bit about that. So then I changed out and started running some black PLA and ran another tent tower with that 0.1 or 1.3 millimeter retraction. And you can see how well that turned out. So what we went with is we went with the third one from the top, and that one right there is the 210 degrees C. So we went with that one, and then we ran the retraction just to test it out. And I mean, you can see the retractions are pretty good on all of them. So we're going to stick with that 0.1 or the 1.3 for now. And then we ran a benchy. So after that, we ran the benchy, and it turned out looking great, as you can see there. Now, I do have a little bit of issue. You can't really read the writing on it. You can kind of see it there where it says the 3D benchy, but I think a lot of that has to do with the PEI bed that we installed. So I'm going to do a little bit more testing with it and see if I can get it to turn out better, and I will report back to you guys. So what's coming up next? Next, we're going to be trying out the silent motherboard on it. I currently have it running in the background. You guys may be able to hear that. Right now I'm running a print for a free file on Thingiverse, and I'll put down in the description for you guys. But it's going to relocate where the micro USB card goes. So it's a little slot you plug in, and it's a little 3D printed part that you put there, and you can stick in your it's actually the regular SD card, and then you use the little micro SD adapter that you plug into it, so you can use your micro SD cards. I'm going to go ahead and get one of those installed and see how this works. Not really going to do a video on that, but I will definitely show you guys in the next video that we do on the board upgrade on it. We'll definitely dig in there, and I'll show you guys that location. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I did playing with it. She is running sweet right now, so I'm looking forward to what else I can do for it. Don't forget to like and subscribe and bash that bell. I am Stitch, SK Hobbies AZ, and I'm out.